Hi everyone, welcome to the April 2019 edition of Farsight's Time Cross Project. Thank you so much for tuning in. Now we at the Farsight Institute have a great show for you today. Napoleon Bonaparte at the Battle of Waterloo. We have some amazing inside information that you need to see. Never before seen stuff, never before known stuff, right here, right now. I'm Courtney Brown, Director of the Farsight Institute. Now, for those of you who follow us regularly, you saw that we did not have a March 2019 edition of Time Cross. We are doing so much stuff right now that we simply had to skip a month so that we could get ahead of the schedule a bit by finishing a couple of projects in advance. Everything we are doing is coming your way as fast as we can complete it, and it is a ton of great stuff. Also, for those of you who subscribe to our YouTube channel, Farsight Press, YouTube now requires people to also click on a notifications bell that appears to the right of the subscribe button only after someone has clicked on the subscribe button. So just clicking on the subscribe button does not do much. It is not much different from, say, a like. So if you are following our activities and YouTube publications, please go back and click on the notifications bell so that YouTube can send you an email when we publish a new video. So if you are subscribing for the first time, first click on the subscribe button, and then you will see the notifications bell, and then click on that bell. And thanks for following our activities. Remember that we have now released both Part 1 and Part 2 of Farsight's 9/11 project for free on YouTube. If you have not seen both parts, now is the time. Part 1 deals with the New York attack, while Part 2 deals with the Pentagon attack and the overall organization of the event. As always, we are deeply appreciative of those of you who have supported us over the years by purchasing all of our videos that we have released as premium projects. Thank you for your support. And remember, this YouTube release will cost us a lot. We are not monetizing the 9/11 project on YouTube, so we get nothing financial from this, and it costs us a great deal of money to complete that project. But we feel that the time has come to release this for general viewing. Also, remember that no one can use remote viewing to claim something is 100% correct without first obtaining corroborating physical evidence. But that is what remote viewing is all about. Remote viewing data can help guide the search and interpretation of physical evidence. So, raising questions is really what remote viewing is all about, and it is with the intent of raising questions of all sorts that we think many people may find Farsight's 9/11 data interesting, perhaps even useful. Farsight did this project under totally blind conditions with really great remote viewers. If you have not seen it yet, I hope you watch it, both parts. Everyone who previously purchased the videos on Vimeo will, of course, still be able to access the documentaries on your Vimeo accounts, just as always. And an update on our new premium project that will be released on April 15th, the Secret Apollo Moon Missions. It will knock your socks off. According to our data, the Apollo missions did not end with Apollo 17 in December 1972. There was at least one and possibly two additional flights to the moon, secret flights that were military in nature and which were not disclosed to the public. And for those of you who think that it is impossible to launch something so big as a moon mission without anyone hearing about it, well, that is the easy part. The military launches stuff into space all the time, and nearly all of their launches are not publicized, often launching at night for good measure. No one raises an eyebrow. Now, for the secret moon missions, the goal, the purpose was extraordinary, and you will understand all the secrecy once you see the project. So hold on tight. It is coming. Watch for it. April 15th, 2019. And now, on to this month's Time Cross. Napoleon Bonaparte at the Battle of Waterloo. This event took place on Sunday the 18th, June 1815, near Waterloo in Belgium, which was then part of the Netherlands. Now, Napoleon was an uncompromising leader of France who rose to power in 1799, which ended the French Revolution. He reorganized France both economically and socially, and then he used that new strength to orchestrate a series of military adventures, both devastating and amazing, depending on one's point of view, throughout Europe and Russia. He was finally defeated and banished in 1814 to the Mediterranean island of Elba. He reorganized society there and then escaped with 700 followers to France in early 1815. And then he rallied French soldiers around him and retook Paris. Napoleon again governed France for a period of about 100 days, and then faced the prospect of an invasion by European powers who did not want to live through another Napoleon-inspired war-drenched period. The first to invade were British and Prussian troops. The British were led by Arthur Wellesley, the Duke of Wellington, and today we just call him Wellington. The Prussian forces were led by Field Marshal Blücher. Now, Napoleon struck first by attacking Wellington's forces, and the French might have routed the British had it not been for the timely arrival of the Prussian forces. Now, neither the British nor the Prussians could have defeated the French by themselves, but together there was an amazing battle that seemed to hang in the balance until the end. Finally, the French were defeated, and Napoleon's rule as Emperor of France came to an end. In this, the final battle, the French lost about 24,000 troops, the British lost about 15,000 troops, and the Prussians lost about 7,000 troops, which, believe it or not, was really small potatoes compared with the losses on all sides with respect to Napoleon's other military adventures that consumed Europe for so many years. In his final surrender, Napoleon said, and I quote, "I come, like Themistocles, to throw myself upon the hospitality of the British people. I claim from your Royal Highness the protections of the laws and throw myself upon the most powerful, the most constant, and the most generous of my enemies." Unquote. Now, Napoleon was then banished again, but this time to the island of St. Helena in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean between Africa and South America. So ironic. After killing all those hundreds of thousands of people with one invasion after another in a quest to amass the power of an empire, he finally asks for mercy for himself and gets to live out the remainder of his life on an island with some of his followers. So, what of this man, Napoleon? What kind of a guy was he? Was he a genius or a madman? We have so many historical accounts. But what would we find out if we sent some of the best remote viewers back in time to find him alive and fighting during his final battle at Waterloo, and then to enter his mind to see what makes him tick? So that is what we did. The remote viewers are Kahmia Dunson, Melena Hall, and Aziz Brown. Now, done under totally blind conditions and with no communication between the remote viewers, here is what they perceived during the Battle of Waterloo.
Today we'll be exploring target 80738426. I have a base surface here with level topography. It feels really natural here, but also a little bit urban. I see like structures here as well, but this is not a city. So here I have these two main structures and then other surrounding structures on my flat land. I'm picking up a lot of subjects here. And they feel all male. They feel very masculine. It's really loud here. I hear just a lot of talking, shouting, roaring, booming. It just sounds very chaotic. And then I also smell a lot of man-made things and hear a lot of just man-made noise as well. I'm also picking up a lot of energetics. I have energetics everywhere, just all in the sky, I see it. All over here around my subjects, I also have a lot of energetics. Just have a lot of activity by my subjects. And there's a lot of like popping sounds, like just very loud popping sounds. I'm also picking up a lot of kinetic energy here. It feels like it's coming from all directions, a lot of multi-directional movement. And then I also just see like little pebble-shaped objects in the sky. They just look like perfect circular, like round objects everywhere in the sky. These objects seem to be like not just coming from the sky, like falling, but they also feel to just be coming through the sky as well, if that makes sense. I'm picking up a lot of movement from my subjects. They seem to just be running around like real crazy everywhere. Like it doesn't really look like they're running with purpose. And now like I'm trying to look through, my eyes burning. It kind of like there's smoke or something in the air here. And my chest feels like a little heavy, and so does my back. It kind of feels like I'm being crushed or like impacted right here in my chest area. It's like so much is happening right now. It feels like a war. It's just people running everywhere. All I can feel is like feelings of like worry or like just being overwhelmed. I feel very overwhelmed here. And I just hear people screaming. I can hear people yelling. God, trying to hear through all the noise. I just see people. It looks like someone's like falling from the sky. It looks like people are literally like flying through the air, almost. Now I'm going to go 24 hours back and forward in time. So 24 hours back. It's a little quieter now. And I just see some structures and some subjects. Not a whole lot is going on. About 24 hours after the event, it's really dark here, dark, cloudy. I can kind of see some structures, but for the most part, it's just this whole area is covered in smoke. And I also don't see any subjects here. I'm going to move to the target subject and describe. Okay. So this subject I see is a man. He has pale skin and he's tall. He's taller than me. So it's about this tall. He seems to have he's got a big nose, and then he's also got these like smaller, thinner lips. And he's also has this round face, and he's got like short brown hair on the top. So our subject is male, and he has like these really broad shoulders too, and his clothing feels a little like thicker, kind of like he's got like really nice clothes on. My subject feels like he's a little like hard or stern. He feels like he's a little hard-headed, like you really can't tell him anything. This person feels, he almost feels like he kind of lacks compassion, or like he lacks empathy. He just feels like he doesn't really care about anything outside of, what's in front of him, what he's trying to get done or what he's thinking about. And he's got like this odd smell to him too. He smells like straight BO. Like this man does not smell that great. Okay, this subject and the things around it are around him. It looks very like old in a sense. It kind of looks like industrial, kind of like during the industrial age, like the 30s or the 20s. It just looks like old timey stuff here. Moving into the mind of my subject. My subject feels pretty confident. He feels like a very confident person. He feels like he's a little arrogant too. But he also feels like he's a little scatterbrained. It kind of feels like he's thinking about a lot of things all at once. It feels like he's trying to just listen to everything and then also do everything. He just sounds like he's also very overwhelmed. And he feels the pressure of something. I feel like he feels the pressure. And it's making my head hazy. My subject feels like, again, very confident, arrogant. You can't tell him nothing about nothing. He feels like, he is right, always right. He has the answers to everything. This person feels like he's trying to prove himself. Really like he's trying to make a point, or he's trying to make a name, or, like he's really trying to prove everybody else around him wrong. You got a wife? If he does, he's not getting any, all right? He's not getting laid. I wonder if he can hold an erection. I mean, if he can, it's pretty girthy. I wonder if he's got like mom issues, like mom something. And I feel nothing about the mom, by the way. So it's either like he don't care about his mom, or he not thinking about her like at all. He just feels like he's lacking something in his life. It just feels like something's missing here. I wonder if he's like bipolar or something. He doesn't feel bipolar. He feels kind of like not bipolar, but he just feels like he's all over the place. He just feels like his brain is just very all over the place. Not that he's bipolar, but he's definitely going through something that's messing with his emotions. This man really feels like he's holding on to his sanity. Like it's hanging by a thread, and he's just really trying to keep it here. But he feels like he's about to just completely lose. He feels like he's about to lose his shit. And then there's also surrounding subjects around my main subject here. Just a couple of them. I'm going to move into the minds of these subjects. these subjects feel like they're annoyed. They feel like my main subject, but they kind of feel that exact same way towards my main subject. I'm getting these feelings of just like irate anger, and I just feel feelings of annoyance, and really like everyone's like over it. It feels like everyone's over it, like they are just don't know what else to say or do for this man. They just also feel very scatterbrained, like they're in an argument, maybe. It feels like they're just, no one can come together. It feels just uncomfortable to be around this man, particularly. My subjects feel like, like nothing's really getting through. It really feels like a lost cause, almost like they're talking to a wall. Just really annoyed. I just feel annoyance through everyone. Everyone feels annoyed. Kind of like they're trying to say something to my main subject, and my main subject is not having it. It just like they're trying to get their point across, and he's just shut down. Just everyone in the room feels very annoyed, overwhelmed, a lot of anxiety, I feel. And it just feels like, not really a great vibe around all of these people here. So yeah, overall, my subjects here just feel like very stubborn man. They can't get their point across. They're just trying to show him something else, and it's like he's not having it. I wonder if I were to meet this subject, how would I feel? He feels very passionate about whatever his cause or what he's doing, and he feels very strong-willed. He feels like he could be like a great leader. So that part of him I do like. The part about him that I don't really like, he feels very stubborn and hard-headed. My subject feels like you can't talk to him, and he feels like he's just a giant wall, and it's like no matter what you say, he does not care. And for me, that would be really hard to try to interact and talk to this subject here. I feel like I would be really cautious meeting this person. It feels like, to me, it feels like I'd be talking to a wall, and I can't deal with that. I would feel just very angry and like hard. Talking to people who are hard to communicate with, for me, is just out of the question. So really, would I want to meet this subject? No, I'm going to say no. I don't think I want to meet this guy. He doesn't really feel like a great person to really be around. But he doesn't really feel like a bad, like terrible person either, if that makes sense. I don't really feel like I would feel comfortable around this man, but I also don't feel like I would feel uncomfortable around this man either. And yeah, that's all I have for target 80738426.
Today I will be exploring targets 2301-3541. For my first visual, I have this base surface. Also have irregular topography in the far distance. I have structures. A bit small man-made structures. Feels like they're shaped like houses. They're subjects. A few foliage. And excuse me. And I'm also seeing water in the distance as well. The subjects are male. I'm getting more male subjects. The male subjects seem like they're in their late 20s, early 30s. Tan, white, pale complexion and undertones. So one of the subjects I'm getting looks similar to that, and all the other subjects are kind of dressed the same way. Just very nice and soft clothing, I guess, and long boots. So there's a lot of energy and activity by the subjects around this area. The area have this tan, dirt, sandy, brown complexion of the ground. Like the area is very, it has that Western outdoor look, like just natural. Everything is just natural, and just a few structures like a little town or somewhat. And then again, like the whole mountains in the back. So it's very different here. It gives me that old 1800s vibe. It's weird. Okay. Now I'm moving towards the energetics and the activity that's around the area. Again, I have a flat surface here and peaks behind. I'm getting a lot of animal noises, like a lot of movement from animals, horses. I'm getting the same subjects wearing the same attire. They're wearing hats. Again, nice shirts, pants, boots. Again, I'm getting subjects wearing the same attire here. And they're all gathered around, going towards the same movements. Feel like it's a group here. Like everybody seems like they stay in this area, same town or whatnot. It's very hot here, by the way. Temperatures here are very warm and hot. Very sunny. It's smoke coming out of one of the structures. Just a lot of male subjects. There's female subjects here, but there seems to be around, but not the main subjects, the group of subjects. These subjects seem very, very organized and have this strict feel, not necessarily military, but there seems like they're in some gang or whatnot. So just a group of subjects seems to be moving and communicating with each other. And the smells I get, I smell food smells, I smell smoke. It's like hot, it's heat. And a lot of dirt smells from being outside. The outside environment is kind of smelly. But the subjects, they all kind of look alike. And the smoke smells are also between the structures and around the subjects. The subject's energy, as I probe, they have very loud voices and their talk so forth, and the language is, like I said, it feels so long ago. It's like they speaking in a different language, but then it's English. It just sounds very different and just weird. The subjects have a very powerful way of doing things. I don't know. But the whole energy of this area feels like subjects gather. It feels like somewhat battle or some type of fight. These subjects, they all have that mean feel of them. And it's just a very wild impact environment. So I have this main subject here with all the rest of the subjects. This subject here, he has a very hard and kind of soft structured face. White, got like red, like have a red blush towards his face. He has hairy features. He doesn't look that old. And he has long hair. This is the male subject I have. Like I said, he has that rosy undertone, red rosy and tan undertone, but he has that white pale face around his eyes. Eye color, possibly like a brownish green color, but black pupils, of course. He has that hairy mustache, like I said, long hair, looks brunette or brown, and a hat on. He's wearing a hat. And he looks very smart. He has that smart look, like he's a brainiac, but he has also sass on him. He's kind of snappy, but his personality seems very sneaky. He's very observing about what's going on around him, but he definitely is the main target I'm getting an image of. And now I'll be doing a deep mind probe on this main subject. He has that adventurous mindset. He's very warm inside, but he come off very hard. Him being, I believe, the leader of the group. His clothing is more baggy-like. Seems like he wear more clothes than the rest. Have that baggy sense of style, and he's pretty tall. I'll say. Have that big bone structure. Maybe his body structure is very big and built, but he's also slamming away. But he's kind of like a 6 feet height type of guy. Not too tall, but just around the same height as the rest of his group. He's a good listener. He can hear things. He can hear trouble. He's always there. Seems like he battles a lot. Like he has been in so many tough situations. He has the scars to prove it. If I met this subject in person, I wouldn't feel comfortable. I would feel very nervous and also scared. I feel like the subject will take me as an enemy or somewhat disturbance or type of person, because I do not fit in the group of the people he's with, and I would feel like he might kill me or attack me. I just feel like he wouldn't be as friendly and talkative with me, and he has that very uptight personality, so I honestly feel like he do not want to be touched as well. So me running into him and his boys, that's a deadly situation. Now describing the relationship between him and his people, his group. Everybody around him obeys him. They listen to him. They treat him like royalty. They do everything for him. A few might, but mainly the people he's encountered with. His personality seems to be a very switchy type of personality, but the subjects around him, they deal with it, and I get that feel. So, and the subject seems to have a lot of enemies, and a few subjects of his own wants to go against him, but I feel like the type of worship people have with him is so strong that nobody cannot touch this man. And he's very untouchable, very athletic, strong, mean, bold subject. Again, this area feels like the 1800s, or even afterwards. It has that very natural, old school, vintage environment. These people have no phones, no anything, just like homes, outdoor, and horses. The sounds of out here, it just sounds just loud, energetics, just everything is just a bunch of noises all in one. It's a community here, and describe this is weird. To describe this is very weird, because it reminds me of a social studies book. Like, just the images I'm getting have that very lightly faded tones from just the pictures, but seeing it, it's just bright oranges and rusty browns. The structures are various. Some are intense, some are brick structure or wooden structures, and the subject's just different. They have their own language. It sounds English, but doesn't sound all the way. It's like broken English, but it has that different, like foreign and slight country, but not too. It's not country. It's more. It's twisted. The words are very. It's just different. But yes, the subjects are, again, like I said, dressed alike, and and it also feel like a hot summer day. And that's all I have for target 2301-3541.
Hi, my name is Aziz Brown, and now we'll be looking at target 9521-1525. Alright, so here we have a lot of subjects. They're all moving, they're in a dynamic position, they're not really too focused, but they're in a lot of movement. There's a lot of walking and fast walking, running in between. There's some subjects some structures that are on different areas, sparsed out around this area. There are animals. They seem to be like large horse-like animals, but there's just more or less, there seems to be just this overwhelming force of just a lot of crowded movement between subjects in this area. So let's look for the more dominant elements of this target. So a lot of the commotion, movement around seems to sort of be focused around these sort of a face-off of sorts between, that sort of is, the center point of this face-off seems to be between this subject and another subject. But this subject is one on one side, and he's more of a wide-faced, burly subject. And let's do a deep mind probe and find out what's going on up there and what this person's thinking like. Okay, so I'm getting a lot of anger in this subject right here. This subject has tunnel vision against another subject that's in front of it. He is a male. He has a lot of stress, a lot of feeling of confidence in his own position, like feels like he's right, but just furious anger, very, very much unhappy and dissatisfied with this situation. If I were to meet this person, feels like I'd be worried, I might get hit or punched or attacked or something like that. This person is really unhappy with whatever the situation is that's going around him. Okay, so the noises that are going on around, you can see that there's a lot of subjects, this crowd of subjects that's more or less focused on this interaction. They're jeering, they're cheering, there seems to be a lot of mixed emotions going on in the crowd. It's a loud crowd, and there are these spells of sort of there's this spell of tenseness that's sort of shadowing the whole scene. Sometimes these moments of quiet spill in where, it's just really tense. Everyone seems nervous about what's happening and what the outcome of what's happening is going to be. It seems like an overall very tense and stressful situation for the people involved. Now let's look at the person opposite of this subject. We'll call this person subject 1. So let's look at subject 2, the individual directly opposite, who's getting all this tunnel vision of anger and intensity directed towards him. Okay, so this subject is sort of in the opposite in terms of their body type. They're tall, they're slender, they're fair skin. Everyone here seems Caucasian. Everybody seems Caucasian in this environment. All the people in the crowd and the individual right here, and subject 1, subject 2, both of them. This one, slender face, sort of seems like they're in these garbs that are somewhat rough and I don't know, a silky type of thing, but rough, silky. They're just garbed up, and this individual is sort of garbed up in these garments and has his arm sort of in this sort of position, almost like a royalty type of position type of thing. But let's do a deep mind probe here. As you can see, also surrounded by other subjects in this environment. So let's do a deep mind probe here, find out what is going on mentally with subject 2. Alright, so right off the bat, it's completely different. Subject 2 feels calm, cool, collected, feels like subject 2 almost feels like subject 2 is perceiving himself as above subject 1. Like nothing subject 1 could ever do could ever affect subject 2. And subject 2 knows this. Like subject 2 is in this position where, I'm not sure why, but subject 2 just feels like powerful in this situation that subject 2 is in. But subject 1, despite being the more wide, heavy-set, seemingly stronger physically human being, subject 2, being slender and thin, seems to feel more confident in his own power, but it doesn't feel like physical type of thing. Alright, subject 2 is also hearing the same sounds as subject 1. A lot of cheers, a lot of jeers, a lot of chitter-chatter, talking, this tense vibe over the whole area. But nothing seems to be phasing subject 2, almost like subject 1. Subject 1 had this like fiery tunnel vision directed towards subject 2, but subject 2 sort of seems aloof, sort of seems like in charge, and despite this conflict, this tension, just I don't get the worry, the fear, the anxiety that I feel elsewhere in this environment. Subject 2 doesn't have any of that. So looking more at the crowd, seeing what the crowd's feeling, let's do a collective deep mind probe to feel the general energy a little bit more about what's going on out there. All right, so mixed between the different groups of people that are around. These crowds, some of them seem to have like these patterned type of, dark patterned type of clothing. Subject 1 seems to be wearing darker clothing. Just some of these individuals seem to have this patterned clothing, almost like a uniform type of thing. These crowds also seem to have mixed feelings about the situation. Some of them are a lot more negatively affected by this. They feel a lot of fear and anxiety towards this. They feel like subject 2 is in danger of subject 1, and some of them feel more admiring, sort of like an admiration of, I don't know, courage or something like that towards subject 2, but just a big mix of both awe, fear and anxiety, as well as confidence, and then again this negativity, fear and anxiety. So that's very spread out over the crowd. And as I said before, some of the crowd have these uniform like patterned clothes, garments on as well. Anyway, that does conclude all the data for target 95211525. Thank you.
So that is what we found out about Napoleon Bonaparte. In terms of personality, he certainly had issues. I'm going to let these remote viewing sessions stand on their own without offering much of a concluding interpretation. In this case, I think the sessions are clear enough. This is an example of living history, and historians normally have to read documents that were written far in the past and then try to sort out people, places, and events. But this is an example of using remote viewing to get brand new first-hand accounts. So historians take note. New remote viewing methodologies make this a very viable alternative approach to studying history, one that can supplement traditional methods for conducting historical research. Well, that is it for this month's edition of Time Cross. Thank you so much for watching. Also, I hope you get a chance to watch all of our other Time Cross episodes, which you can find on our website. Also, be sure to watch our recent full-length mysteries project, Moses Beyond Exodus, one of our most amazing projects ever. And please remember to watch some of our other mysteries projects, such as The War in Heaven, and also Tunguska Complexity, Remote Viewing Area 51, the Roswell UFO crash, the investigations into the 9/11 events, the assassinations of John F. Kennedy and Martin Luther King, the psychology of Adolf Hitler, and some amazing explorations into UFOs and extraterrestrial life. As always, all Farsight remote viewing work is done by highly trained remote viewers working solo under totally blind conditions with no communication between any of the remote viewers. So Farsight projects are nothing short of amazing, and there is nothing like it anywhere else. And remember that when you watch our Mysteries projects, you are helping us at Farsight do our work, including the funding for our Time Cross project, which we offer free to the public, but which costs us a few $1,000s to do each month. We have no other significant sources of income to pay the bills. So you really help when you follow and watch our activities and research. Without you watching our projects, we would not exist. Finally, please remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Farsight Press, to keep up with the latest. And after you click on the subscribe button, please click on the notifications bell that appears after you subscribe. Otherwise, the subscribe button does not do much. You can find information about all of our present and past activities on our website. And also on our website, please sign up for our free email newsletter, where we announce all of our major projects. It is actually best to do both things, to subscribe to our YouTube channel and to sign up for our free email newsletter to be sure that you hear about our new releases. We never send out spam, just announcements of new releases, so it is worth it to keep tuned. Stay ahead of the curve. Let the mainstream fade in the dust. Be there now.